What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to paint this hood using Rattle can spray paint from Era Paints. So let's get into this. First of all, before we get into this, I want to give a huge shout out to Era Paints. Era Paints is sponsoring this video. They sent me everything you see on the table, some primer, some base coat, and some 2K high gloss clear coat. Everything we see on the table here we're going to use to refinish that hood. So before we started this video, I already went in and got it sanded and cleaned. The next step is going to be to take the hood scoop off to make my life a little bit easier. Then we're going to mask the whole thing, and then we're going to hit it with the primer, let the primer dry, wet sand it. Then we're going to hit it with some base coat and then clear coat, and we should get a actual factory finish using these spray cans. So let's get into that. So those of you that don't know who Era Paints are, they've been around for a very long time. They specialize in paint refinishing and also color correction. So with Era Paints, if you go to their website, you can get little touch-up cans for those rock chips that you may have, or you can get it in the spray cans like you see here to get a whole panel redone. So for me, it's the whole hood. They sent me out some of their spray cans to get that done. I do have some rock chips towards the rear of the car that I need to get that touch-up paint done. So we are going to be able to get some touch-up paint from them as well. And even in their touch-up paint, you can get it as a 3-step process like we're doing today, or you can get a 1 or 2-step process depending on how you want to refinish it and how you want it to look at the end game. The goal for this playlist or this series that we're doing now is we're going to redo the entire car using only Era Paints spray cans or touch-up paint. So it's going to look like a brand new car when we're done, but because we can color match through Era Paints, we're going to keep it the same 22G Sanremo red, but we're going to do it with a perfect color match from Era Paints. All right, I went ahead and did all of the prep work off camera. We got it sanded down. We have some wax and grease remover put on it. We used some alcohol, and then I hit it with a tack cloth. So everything is smooth and ready to get painted. So the first step we're going to do now is hit it with some of the Era Paints primer. We're going to do 3 coats of the primer. Again, just like any other rattle can, you want to shake it. Give it a good shake for 1 to 2 minutes. When you're spraying your primer, your base coat, or even your clear coat, you want to make sure that you don't go any more than a 45-degree angle. You want to keep it as upright as possible. The best way to get the best results is if you were to take the hood off so that you can keep it flat. Unfortunately, I don't have the means to do that. So I reached out to Era Paints, said, hey, what can I do to keep the hood on the car to paint it? And they said I can do it horizontally. Just the can itself cannot go more than a 45-degree angle. Once you get past that 45-degree angle mark and you're at almost a full 90, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get droplets and splotches all over the paint. It's not going to be a smooth finish. So again, you can go ahead and paint it just like I am here now, but don't let your can get more than that 45-degree angle. So I'm going to put you guys on time lapse, and then we're just going to get right into it. All right, one thing that I did do is switch over to a different nozzle. So this nozzle is a little bit more comfortable and it gives me a better spray pattern. So this is the one I'm going to start using for the second and the third coat. The nozzle that came on the primer button itself didn't really lay that well. It wasn't really that flat. So I went over and I switched over to the bottle top that comes on their base coat cans. And we're going to see, it should make it a little bit more comfortable and then spray a little bit more even on that second coat. All right, we let this sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. It's a little bit tacky to the touch, so we're going to go ahead and hit it with a second coat. Again, I'm using a different nozzle just to make it a little bit easier on my hand, because my hand can barely even bend anymore from even that first coat. So we're going to try this one, see if it's a little bit easier so that we can get that second coat on. All right, so coat number 3 with the primer is done, and just like I thought, putting the different nozzle on it actually made it lay a little bit smoother. I can still see tiger stripes and lines in it. A lot of that's going to be from kind of holding it down and not 45 or greater. Typically, I like to put 3 coats of primer on, but what I'm going to do is just use this entire second bottle. So I think I'm going to end up getting 4 coats. We'll see. That this may take 3 coats and be done with it, but in all honesty, the body work wasn't bad. There was just a lot of paint chips in it. So even if I get three coats on there and it doesn't give me a complete coverage, all I plan on doing is giving it a nice little wet sand and then moving on to the base coat anyway. So because the base coat is the same red that was underneath, because we're just paint matching the rest of the car. So again, 3 coats will work. I'm hoping to get at least a 4th coat just to get it a little bit thicker. I kind of changed my technique on that second pass with the second coat, went a little bit slower with it, and I started getting better coverage. So we're going to try to go a little bit slower on the whole car and see what that amounts to. All right, so we got 3 coats of primer on it. That's about all I can do, and I ran out of primer. So we're gonna let that sit overnight, and then tomorrow we're gonna wet sand it, get it as smooth as possible, and then we're gonna hit it with the base coat. I think with the car being red and we're just paint matching it with the same red, I don't think I'm gonna have too many issues with it looking the way it does, but we'll see how it comes out tomorrow after the wet sanding. All right, well, I videoed this to show you the paint, and well, I didn't realize that my GoPro battery was dead, so I got no footage of the actual paint job. So this is after 2 coats of the red base coat. I will do 1 more coat and then let it dry for a couple hours, and then we'll go ahead and do a clear coat. But this was 1 and about a half, almost 2 full cans to get the 2 base coats on there. Again, I'm going to hit it with 1 more coat just to make it look a little bit better. Then we're going to wet sand that to try to get it as smooth as possible. Then we're going to hit it with the clear coat. So I got the GoPro batteries charging so that I can show you the clear coat routine and everything for the clear coat. But that's probably going to be in a few hours for me. It'll be in just a few seconds for you. All right, here we go. We got the primer done. We got the painting done. We're on to step 3, which is the clear coat. And then we can get this thing finished up. So the clear coat we're using is a 2K high gloss clear coat. And just for a simple fact, with this clear coat, it has ketones in it. Therefore, you must wear a respirator or some type of a mask for this. Era Paints recommends using an NIOSH type mask. I picked one up from Home Depot. I think I paid 40 bucks for it. But if you're going to spray this or any type of clear coat that has a ketones in it, then you must wear a respirator. One really cool thing about the clear coat, it is a 2-stage clear. So what happens is there's actually 2 different products separated in the can. What you have to do is take this little red plunger off the cap, push it into that little nipple there, and it'll mix them together. So when you read the instructions, it'll tell you to shake the can first, then flip it upside down, push the plunger into that nipple. You'll hear it pop or break free, and then shake it for a full 2 minutes afterwards to make sure everything's mixed up and everything's ready to go. Just like everything else, we're going to shoot 2 full cans, which should be about 3 coats of clear coat on there. And so let's get to that and see how this comes out. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, give me that thumbs up and go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions regarding this paint job, Era Paints, or anything, hit me up in the comments. You can also hit me up on Instagram and TikTok. That's Ohio_tuner. You can also hit up Era Paints themselves. They're very active on social media, i.e. Instagram or TikTok. Every time I messaged them or had questions, they would get back to me within a couple hours. Great people. Again, thank you, Era Paints, for sending me out that kit. I'm going to be purchasing some more stuff from them so that I can do my fenders and my rear bumper, since I have some more stuff I have to get done there. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Era Paints, and we'll catch you on the next one.